Cool. So where do you want to start? So why did we choose Enfuce? There were a number of different reasons. I mean, we have those technological hygiene factors say that here are the things that we're really looking for.
In discussing with them, we figured out, oh, this is actually a massive endeavor and really a big thing for us to take on upon ourselves.
So then it came down to what would our relationship look like? How important a partner would we become? But of course, we want to work with partners that, have a good and prosperous business to grow themselves.
Enfuce was more recent, so also built on the latest technology, which sort of de-risked the proposition quite a bit. And we could see that, whatever they were building actually really worked.
For us, it's important to have a card solution being then flexible and supporting all of the potential new ways of receiving payments from customers for any potential products and services that we haven't even figured out what they will be yet. We're not there yet, but so far it's going quite well, I would say.
That was something that tested the relationship a little bit in the beginning. How fast can they help us move into new geographies? So we started with 2 geographies in 6 months, and then we did 4 more in 6 months, and then we did 10 in 10 months. You could say, supporting new geographies was key for us, both across Europe, but also eventually outside of Europe. And the speed with which we can enter into a new market is very important to us too.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So basically what then happened, building this new infrastructure from scratch, setting ourselves up cloud natively with a lot of technology partners and piecing this infrastructure together, launching this first customer value proposition. And having got that into the market, we said, okay, so now here is this new infrastructure. How do we scale that? And that's really where the thought of lending this platform more broadly into the marketplace occurred.
In our new portfolio of products and services that we offer to our customers, one part is also how do we offer our software solutions and sell that to other customers then. So many as a service offerings that we are to data as a service, cards as a service, and we are definitely interested in, since the interest is quite high from other companies looking at what we're doing, that's definitely an option that we are to potentially sell our card solutions, which we to some extent actually already do.
One of the things that I would look at doing is saying, okay, maybe I'm not comfortable yet giving my entire portfolio and all this volume to a particular next-gen player, but I want to start with a portion of my portfolio to see how they do. I think it'd be helpful for the banks themselves and the decision makers at those banks start looking at these players and saying, maybe I can just give them a portion of volume just to see how they do. Almost like a test run, right? Or proof of concept, if you will, right? And I think there are ways to do that, and I think they'll be pleasantly surprised.
They can look at new offerings, where you look at the UK's a traditional business line, deposits and lending, new IT stacks are allowing them to offer maybe current accounts, digital wallets. Do they look at credit cards? There's lots of things. You've got embedded finance, you've got buy now, pay later. Or the new solutions allow them to transform their current business, but look at what they can do moving forward. As we've seen the market since COVID, there's been massive changes in the technology environment we work in. We know companies have been making changes to the way they work, to their structures. We've seen that at Mambu, as every company from Microsoft to Salesforce, they've seen it all as well. So there's nothing new, change is the constant. It's how you adapt to change, and as a business, what you look at, how you want to move with the markets. It's quite exciting that we are a company that's from top to bottom, we're involved, we're providing that voice of this is what the customer wants. That to me is what I think is quite exciting.
And we are quite early on our journey with Enfuce. Would have liked to build an infrastructure that allows you to constantly review your stack and say, hey, there's new opportunities over here and we should be able to change. Of course, it always comes with some degree of disruption when you change a critical provider in your infrastructure, but to be able to do that.
Yeah, so we really have to stay abreast of all the new developments and technologies. So we actually have a program under the umbrella which we call Digital Banking Solutions Community, where we track basically about 15 to 20 different modern solutions, That gives us also a head start in our product, and we're obviously partnered with most of those companies.
All companies will say they work in the same way, and all companies will have challenges. Everyone is going through change, but what doesn't change is the opportunity and the need for new technology stacks, and that's where we're a part of that journey, which is great.
What we do think is that when we put together our banking license, being a regulated financial institution like SEB, with a lot of strong tech partners and our own IP in terms of developing parts of the infrastructure, and designing very easy to use and readily accessible APIs for accessing banking as a service, then we think we've pieced together something which is really interesting. Now there's pieces in here which we just want to have scale and good partners that's going to help us to manage. But orchestrating this combination of services, products, and providers, that's where we think that we can really bring something unique to the marketplace.
We want to reach out to younger people who are also moving in the mobility area. Even if they don't have cars yet, they might have other kind of vehicles or transportation, and I believe the sustainability agenda is definitely driving that. Offering easy ways to make their payments by the use of cards, virtual or digital wallets or whatever, is key to reaching out to that new customer base that we're starting to approach a bit more than we have done before then.
So that was actually one of the first things we said when we were discussing was like, okay, we have high ambitions. So we might be small today, but in the future we intend to be very big, and we want to cover the whole of Europe to start with. So that means today actually we're in 16 markets across Europe and many different currencies too, which adds on a whole lot of complexity.
To some extent underestimated the complexity in doing this huge transformation. In the same time as we're doing the transformation to moving the issuing responsibility from OKQ8 AB or the business side into the bank then, and that's also a parallel, quite complex transformation.
If I look back now, I think one of the greatest accomplishments that we've had with SBX, now SEB Embedded, is the team that we put together and what they could produce. And I am super excited and confident about the team's ability to say, hey, we need to tweak or pivot or do something a little bit differently. So getting a team working effectively together, I totally underestimated the value of having that in place.
Take more risk in the sense that I would do recarding faster. So we were very, very scared. You know, we thought it was a big risk. We called it internally a simultaneous heart and lung transplant when we did the recarding. But honestly, with the pre-work we did and with the strong collaboration that we had as well, we could have moved much faster. Probably we could do it in half the time. It's scary, but if you do your pre-work, it's actually not as scary as it sounds.